Good morning, Maplewood Mustangs. Happy Friday. Today is day 5 of Virtual Spirit Week, and today is wear your Maplewood uniform or your Maplewood school clothes to show that you are a Maplewood Mustang. So I've got my District 6 shirt on, even though we are not in our Maplewood classrooms and we're learning from home, teaching from home. We are always going to be District 6. We are always going to be Maplewood Mustangs. That does not change just because you're learning from home or you move on to middle school. You're always going to be a Maplewood Mustang, and you are always welcome to come back and visit your teachers and talk with us and let us know how you're doing. And we want to help you at all times because you are amazing Maplewood scholars. You are becoming college and career ready every day, more and more. You are working on becoming a very independent person who can achieve great things. You all are smart, you all are important, and you all are kind, and don't ever forget that. Since yesterday I didn't get to share my video for Spirit Week, I thought that in connection to wearing our Maplewood clothes today for Spirit Week, I would share my favorite book, which is Harold and the Purple Crayon. This has been one of my all-time favorites since I was little. I know that my students that I have taught have heard me read this before, but I don't think you can ever read a book more and not like it. So I'm going to read it again for you all, and let's enjoy. Harold and the Purple Crayon. Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on. He made a long, straight path so he wouldn't get lost, and he set off on his walk taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long, straight path. So he left the path for a short cut across the field, and the moon went with him. The short cut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. It even frightened Harold. He backed away, and his hand holding the purple crayon shook. And suddenly he realized what was happening. But by then Harold was over his head in an ocean. He came up thinking fast, and in no time he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. After he had sailed long enough, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie, but there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up. And off he went, looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see, so he decided to make the hill into a mountain. If he went high enough, he thought, he could see the window of his bedroom. He was tired, and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped. Uh-oh. There wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. But luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon, and he grabbed onto it. And he made a basket under the balloon big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house. So he made a house with windows, and he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be. He made some more windows. He made big building full of windows. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. I like how you can still see the moon. He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way Harold was going anyway, but Harold thanked him. And he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in bed. Then suddenly Harold remembered. He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. And then Harold made his bed. He got in it and he drew up the covers. The purple crayon dropped on the floor, and Harold dropped off to sleep. So while you're home learning and working on your Zern and iReady, take a moment today to really remember all the things that we do at Maplewood and how you are a Maplewood Mustang, even though you're learning from home. Maybe reading your favorite book will help you, and maybe you can reach out to your teachers or friends and ask them what they're reading. But I want you all to remember that you are Maplewood Mustangs, you are Maplewood Scholars, and you are doing great things. Don't let that stop. See you next time.